good win by our guys, obviously. I applaud all of them because we had different guys step up at different times. You take a guy like Jeremy Sohan. We threw him in the game, and he gave us 4 to 5 great minutes. I don't even know when the last time Jeremy really even played longer than 30 seconds. It was just a heck of a job keeping himself ready. Ariel Porty, Cat picks up fouls. Mitch is gassed. We throw Ariel out there. Ariel's minutes were unbelievable. I challenged a lot of our guys today, and OG was one of the guys that I challenged. I told OG, as big, as strong, as athletic as he is, he's got to be a monster on the offensive glass tonight. I don't know if there was a play bigger than any other play in the history of Knicks basketball. That was a huge offensive rebound. Huge offensive rebound. He took on the challenge, and he went and won the game for us, doing exactly what I called him out for, doing shoot around today. Cat, he picked up those early fouls, was on the bench most of the half, and he had a whale of a fourth quarter, a whale of a second half for us. He was unbelievable. Jalen, he's the MVP candidate. I say the same thing about Jalen every game. He does what an MVP is supposed to do, and he did it again tonight. The last person I'm going to talk about is Jose Alvarado. We clap for Jose. I know a lot of you guys can't because you're in the media and you got to be neutral, but I'm going to clap for Jose. Sorry, Mom. Jose was unbelievable tonight. He changed the game. His speed, his ability to touch the paint, again, you give San Antonio a lot of credit. They're trying to throw a lot of different things at us defensively, kind of a matchup man / zone. And if you don't close out to Jose, as hard as he works on his shot, he's going to make you pay. If you close out to him, he's quick enough to go by you. And he made some great basketball plays offensively tonight, and then he was great defensively. But you talk about a total team effort when we hit adversity. And that's all we've talked about all year. Hitting adversity, hitting adversity, hitting adversity. I embrace it through the year. We have to hit it because we have to see if we're connected enough for moments like this. And our guys showed their resiliency and showed they're connected enough to handle a moment like that. The series isn't over. It's going to be tough down in San Antonio. But I applaud all my guys and all my coaches for trying to find a way and finding a way to get in the win tonight.
Christian up front.
Mike, Christian Winfield, New York Daily News. I mean, you talk about resiliency. You guys have come back from so many double-digit deficits over what feels like the last few weeks. But tonight to come back from down 29, what was said at halftime? Did anybody deliver a message to galvanize the guys? And did you have the sense that at halftime your team was going to pull off what many felt would have been impossible today?
We knew there was still a lot of time left in the game. And, we didn't show film. My coaches didn't want to show any film to the guys. We let them sit for a little bit, talk amongst themselves, think about it. And then the biggest thing was, I told the guys we could play better. Right now we're letting the ball get to the paint, and we got to do a better job of keeping the ball out the paint. We got to play faster. So we're not going to be able to call any plays. We just have to get into our actions right away, keep trying to touch the paint, keep trying to move the ball, keep trying to keep the the floor spaced. And the reality of it is, not just in basketball, not just in sports, but in life too, I think you can all attest to this. You got to have a little luck in life. You got to have a little luck in sports. But you can also go make your own luck too. So you got to have some natural luck, and then you got to have some luck where you're going to make your own luck. And that was probably the biggest message. Long time to play still. We got to get a little lucky. But let's do what we do so we can make some of that luck happen. And the last thing that we said to him was, let's cut it to around 15 to 17 going into the fourth. And if we do, we'll give ourselves a chance.
On your left, Steve? Yeah, you mentioned what you said about OG, but also you were riding those guys right to the end, him and Jalen. I don't think sat maybe at all. Just kind of to see what they were doing and probably exhausted for OG to make that play. Just kind of how exceptional is that?
It's unbelievable. You know, the tip, how he had to control it and tip it in from. I mean, like I said, you know, that has to be the most iconic shot in the history of New York basketball. I mean, I'm not you guys know better than me, but it was just unbelievable. Jalen played the whole half. OG didn't, but we rode those guys, and they did a fantastic job of trying to play both ends of the floor, trying to play fast while trying to give it to us defensively.
Third row on your left?
Joe Masseri, Pix 11. Kind of felt it in Cleveland, against Cleveland in game one. When you hear that crowd start to roar and you can kind of feel that wave coming, what's that like for you on the bench? What's that like for the guys? And as you're going in and out of timeouts and stoppages of play there?
It was a little tough. I couldn't see much. And I say that because, like, Fat Joe's sitting there with all these chains on. And every time he jumped up, the freaking lights with those chains, they blinded me. So it was a little hard. Fat Joe, keep wearing the chains because you look smooth. But you can't replace this crowd, man. I mean, the building's already electric, but during a run like that, to see, you know, people like Fat Joe and all the others just enjoying themselves out of basketball, you know, just being human, jumping up and down, high-fiving, screaming. The vibe is just, it's hard to describe. And the energy in the crowd had a lot to do with our comeback, too. It was fantastic. Unbelievable.
Fifth row on your left, Dan?
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports, back here on your left.
Sorry.
All good. Your focus a little bit skewed right now. 30 second half points you allow. 8 for 39 shooting with 9 turnovers. What did you guys? How were you able to turn things around defensively that way?
Really, we didn't change much. We basically kept the same game plan. Defensively, we just did it harder for longer stretches, and we were really in tune to what we were supposed to be doing. Our level of physicality increased without sending them to the free throw line as well, which is huge.
On your right, Ian, fourth row?
Yeah, Mike, Ian O'Connor with The Athletic. Before the game, your team owner did an interview with WFAN where he essentially guaranteed victory tonight and in the series. Were you aware of that before the game? And what was your reaction to it? And if you weren't, what's your reaction to hearing that now?
No, I wasn't aware of it. You know, he owns a team. He can say whatever he wants to say. You know, maybe he feels something. I don't know, but I'm 100% okay with him saying whatever he feels like he needs to say.
On your left, Ian?
Ian Begley, SNY. Mike, what were you looking for when you brought Jose in to share the backcourt with Jalen in the fourth quarter? What was your thinking then?
You know, just to mix it up, Jose's been good in the pick and roll. Jose's been good touching the paint. And if Jalen wanted to get off the ball for a few possessions, Jose could handle it. And he could touch the paint and make the game easier for others. If Jalen was on the ball got sprayed and it found Jose can then touch the paint with his speed. And so that's all I was trying to do is see if we could touch the paint a little bit more with the two guards out there while the floor was spaced the right way. See if we can get some easy looks, especially from the three-point line, while trying to play faster.
Standing in the back left.
Hey, Coach, back here. Your team is kind of full of a lot of guys that have been overlooked in various stops, and even yourself, obviously, you've had moments where you've been doubted. Do you think there's something to kind of having that underdog journey to this point, or being overlooked at times, that can be a superpower in a way?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think everybody, to a certain degree, at some point in life, is overlooked. I have people in my own family who I see more potential in them than maybe what the world sees, and just to have the ability to stay with it, especially when you get knocked down. To me, that defines who you are. Even if you don't have the quote-unquote ultimate success that you think you deserve, if you get knocked down in life and you're able to get back up and keep fighting, that's a freaking win. And, most of our guys have probably had to go through that, but I think most people in the world have to go through it. And it's fun to be around a group of guys that are resilient like that, because I know it gives me hope watching these guys, not just for myself, but for my family and a couple of my friends too.
Last question all the way, then back under the camera.
Coach Kidel Padilla, Filtro 360, Puerto Rico, here.
Yeah.
Finals could be very emotional, and the psychological part coming from 25, 26 down. What does that to your team going forward? And second one, were you surprised that Fox drove to the basket with only 8 seconds left? All you had to do is hold the ball, get fouled, go to the free throw line. Were you really surprised on that action?
No, again, on that action, you never know what a player's thinking. Maybe he was going to drive and wanted to keep the dribble to run out the clock. I don't know. You would have to ask him. But, coming from 29 down or 27 down, whatever it is, it gives you the confidence to know that, okay, hey, we're never out of a game. And if we're down again, which you hope you don't get down that much, let's just keep fighting. Let's keep doing what we're doing, but maybe try to do a little better. Make an adjustment here, make an adjustment there, and see what happens. So it just adds to one of our huge standards, which is the overall belief in the process, but more importantly, the overall belief in each other.